Alrighty, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and right off the bat I want to say thank you so much for 100 subscribers. It's absolutely crazy. I never thought I'd see the day that 100 people would want to press that subscribe button on just a little hobby channel that I'm doing, but I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna come out with a little 100 subscriber special for you. I'll give you a tour of my PC setup, my VATSIM setup, everything I use to make these videos happen. So if you don't want to miss that, be sure to subscribe, and that should be out probably next week if I had to guess. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. So I decided to finally start the 2-week free trial of PilotEdge. And if you don't know what PilotEdge is, I'm going to leave a link in the description to their website. I definitely recommend checking them out if you're into VATSIM or talking to real ATC, stuff like that. PilotEdge is like VATSIM on steroids. It only covers part of the US, and you'll see when you go to their website, their different coverage areas, but all towered airports, most of the towered airports in that area are guaranteed ATC coverage. They use the real frequencies. They have guaranteed ground, tower, approach, center, all the way through. And it's pretty freaking cool. It's also pretty freaking expensive, but for what you get with that, I'm kind of debating whether I want to pay for it or not, because eventually, with the goal in mind of eventually getting my PPL in the United States, I want to try to get as much practice with certain aspects of flying, in this case, air traffic control and procedures, as I can. So today we're going to be doing the recommended first flight, which is from an uncontrolled airport to a controlled airport. So we're going to be taking off from Sunnyside Municipal, 1 Sierra 5, to Yakima Air Terminal, which is Yankee Kilo Mike. So the idea with this is you take off, you don't have to talk to ATC, you use CTAF to get off the ground, which you'll see in the video. And then you have to contact Tower. Since Yakima is a Class Delta airport, you'll contact Tower before getting into the airspace and go from there, get clearance to land, all that good stuff. But I hope you all enjoy the video. I'm going to talk over a little bit. I didn't do very much talking while actually flying, but I'll do a little bit talking over the video. This video is not so much about the operation of the A2A Comanche. You can find plenty of videos on how to fly this thing. I highly, highly, highly recommend the A2A Comanche. I think it is the best airplane that we have in flight sim at the moment. It is absolutely stunning. But this video isn't about the Comanche, it's about PilotEdge, so I'm going to skip around certain things in terms of the parts where I'm not talking to ATC. So I'll kind of explain what's going on, and you'll be able to see a flight on PilotEdge firsthand right here.
Airport. Automated weather observation 0403. Zulu weather. Wind 260 at 7. Visibility 10. Clear below 12,000. Temperature 23 Celsius 2.12. Altimeter 2981. Remarks. Density altitude 2,100.
It's the first time I've ever called a phone number to get an ATIS. I feel like I'm learning things today. Sunnyside traffic, Comanche 455 Kilo Tangos, taxiing runway 25, Sunnyside. So there you go, going to get the actual AWOS, the automated weather observation for Sunnyside by phone. You can actually call a phone number to get these AWOS messages. At some airports, if you go to the chart supplement for the airport that you're at, and if the ATIS isn't working, in this case, the ATIS frequency wasn't giving anything. So I went to the chart supplement and I said, well, heck, I'm just gonna call the number and see what's going on, and was able to get the AWOS from that. Another thing here is that uncontrolled airports, you always want to announce your intentions. It's not required. However, since you're able to announce your intentions, you should. So if anybody else is in the pattern, anybody else is at the airport, they're able to see hear, I guess, exactly what you're doing, and they can be prepared for it. Something you're not going to see a whole lot in this video is you should always be looking around when you're flying VFR. I don't have my track IR set up, and I didn't feel like swinging my mouse back and forth all over the place. After all, it is a simulator, but in a realistic sense, you would want to be looking around a whole lot. when you're taxiing around doing things VFR, especially at an uncontrolled airport. Sunnyside traffic. Comanche 455 Kilo Tango, taking off runway 25 straight out, Sunnyside. All right, we'll get lined up. Should be good there. Bring full power. And here we go. Rotating at 85 knots. Stepping on the ball. Outer runway, gear coming up. I want to climb at about 105 knots. We're gonna fly just straight out for now. Until we reach 1,700 feet. So 1,000 feet AGL, then we'll be out of the pattern. So 1,700 feet, 1,000 feet AGL. We'll go 23, 24, which is going to bring us to about 24 for manifold and RPM. Sunnyside traffic 455 Kilo Tango, leaving the pattern to the west. Last call, Sunnyside. We're out of here. Get leaned out. Bring about 16 gallons per hour for peak performance. I climb up to 6,500. We'll start our turn on course here. As well as the after takeoff. Flaps are up, gears up, and we're climbing at 105 knots. Alright, so there you have it, a departure from an uncontrolled airport using CTAF and Unicom to talk to anybody else that might be around, let everybody know what we're doing, and then giving that last call once we leave the airspace. Last call is not really required, but I've heard real-world pilots say they like to give that last call in case somebody at the FBO is trying to get in touch with them or something like that, just to let them know that, hey, leaving the frequency. But now, at this point, as we're climbing out, since this is such a short flight, I always want to try to stay one step ahead. So I'm already looking on my second monitor, or what would be my iPad if I was actually in a plane. I'm looking at tower frequencies, making sure I have my Navigraph map up, and my magenta little diamond for my plane is showing up so I can make sure I stay outside of the delta before I contact the tower and get two-way communication to enter the delta. And then I'm also getting ready to tune up the ATIS frequency. We'll pick up Yakima ATIS, and then we'll be good to call them up with the information, and we'll go from there with our approach.
3. Arriving and departing runways 2227. Visual approaches in use. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact that you have information India. Yakima Air Terminal, ATIS Information India, 0353 Zulu, wind 270 at 10, visibility 10, sky condition, clear, temperature 23, dew point 9er, altimeter 2983, arriving and departing runways 2227, visual approaches in use, read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact that you have information India.
VFR on frequency change approved, 6A Yankee. Walker 3512, contact, correction, Salt Lake Center. Good evening, climb and maintain flight level 230.
Yakima Tower, Comanche 455, Kilo Tango is about 13 miles to the southeast with information India, inbound full stop.
Route 455, Kilo Tango, Yakima Tower, make straight in, runway 27, report 3 mile final.
Straight in, runway 27, report 3 mile final, 455 Kilo Tango. Alrighty, so there you have it. We picked up the ATIS, and we now officially have clearance to enter the Class Delta airspace. To enter the Class Delta airspace, all you need to have is two-way communication established with the controller. So as silly as it may seem, if the controller had responded, November 455 Kilo Tango, stand by, since she said my call sign, I'm cleared to enter the Class Delta airspace, and that's all the clearance that I need because the two-way communication has been set up. However, if the controller had said aircraft calling standby, she didn't say my call sign, I have to remain outside of the airspace until she says my call sign. So now that we're cleared, we're going to get set up for the descent. I was very late on this, so you might see a pretty darn steep descent into Yakima, but I'll go ahead and fast forward just a little bit so we're right lining up to the runway, and I'll let you guys see the full landing, all the communications, everything like that. So here it comes.
Sir 5 Kilo Tango, no need to report, wind 28010, runway 27, clear land.
Clear to land, runway 27, 455 Kilo Tango. Right before landing checklist, or approach checklist, autopilot's off, fuel pump coming on, we'll get our landing lights on as well. Fuel levels are checked, fuel pressure is good, mixture coming rich. Props will come full forward once we get a little bit closer. Carb heat is not required. We want to work on slowing down here in just a little bit. We're going to get a little bit lower. Then we'll do our GUMPS check and our landing checklist. Even though they told us to report, since they told us we're cleared to land, and they also said no need to report, I didn't read that back though. We don't need to report at 3 miles, so we'll just continue our approach. Should be good. We have a notch of flaps in here. Now we're going to work on slowing down to our final approach. We'll get the gear down, which will add some more drag. Coming at about 100 knots now. Winds are 270, so we got a perfect headwind, which is exactly what we would want. A little low on the approach. You can just now see the pappies out there. We'll do another notch of flaps. A little bit of power to compensate. About 95 knots now. That's fine. We'll lose some altitude and keep our airspeed, so I'm pulling the throttle back and pitching the nose down. Let's go, final notch of flaps. We'll do our GUMPS check. Gas is looking good, undercarriage is down, mixture's rich, props are forward, and seatbelts are on. Slow down to about 90 knots. Then we got our landing checklist. Gear indicates down. I'm not going to move the camera, but it's indicating down. Flaps are down. And our airspeed is 90 knots. So we are golden. Trim it out. Got a little bit slow. I'm keeping my eyes outside the cockpit. The plane's feeling just fine. Aiming for the numbers. We should land just after the numbers. And we're down. Flaps coming up. We'll try to get off at Alpha 2 here. We'll get across this runway before we slow down too much. We're clear here at Bravo. Yakima Tower, 455 Kilo Tango is clear at Bravo.
45 Kilo Tango, taxi to parking via Alpha. Have a great night.
Parking via Alpha. We'll catch you next time, 455 Kilo Tango. Whew, I can breathe a sigh of relief. I've done my first flight with ATC on PilotEdge. Playing with the professionals now. Oh, lordy. My heart was beating when I switched over to tower, I'll tell you what. Alrighty, everybody, thank you so much for watching. We didn't get yelled at, and we didn't crash the Comanche, so that's a win in my book for the first flight on PilotEdge. I have the 2-week free trial, so over on Twitch, I'm going to be working on the CAT ratings, which are different VFR ratings going through, and I might throw in a stream or two over here on YouTube on PilotEdge. Haven't decided if I'm going to pay for it yet. It's a little expensive, so we're going to see how good it is, and then we'll make a decision from there. But thank you all so much for watching, and thank you so much for 100 subscribers. It means a ton. I never would have guessed that 100 people would feel compelled to press that subscribe button for just a little hobby I'm doing. Keep an eye out for that 100 subscriber special, the PC setup and flight sim setup tour. Subscribe if you don't want to miss that. Drop a like if you enjoyed, and if this video was helpful getting started on PilotEdge. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time. Later.